This is the Kitchen Sink WP Podcast, episode 480.
I program my home computer.
We have a server crash, 404 error, page not found, links aren't working, system is crashing, system is crashing, system is crashing.
Your old HTML website, barely alive. We have the technology. We have WordPress. A new website, better than it was before. Better, stronger, faster. We have the technology.
Why, hello everybody, this is Adam Silverly, host of the Kitchen Sink WP Podcast. Thanks for being here. Let's get started. All right, upcoming events. We have one WordCamp and one other event. First, the WordCamp. It's WordCamp Gliwice. It's in Poland, May 12th, 13th, and 14th. Check that out if you're in the area. It looks pretty cool. Also, I want to mention a webinar, my webinar. I'm doing a webinar, 3-day webinar, May 30th through June 1st. It's over at adamsilver.com/free webinar. And just so that you know the actual name of it, it is going to be called, what was the name I gave it? Yes, it's the Side Hustle Sprint, your 3-day path to profit. So if you're interested in that, completely free. You can, of course, you can donate if you want to contribute after the fact, and you will be able to see the videos after for a fee, kind of like some of the other platforms out there where it's free while it's live. It's 45 minutes, 3 days in a row. And if you want more information, check it out. Link in the show notes or adamsilver.com/free webinar. All right, moving on. Segment 1 in the news. Two things here. First and foremost, first round of WordCamp US tickets went on sale and sold out. So there's that. But don't worry, there are more tickets to come for sure. I thought I was not going to go to WordCamp US because it's my wife's birthday on the last day, but it looks like I might be able to go a day or two before that. So we'll see. I might be there, I might not. Don't know yet. By the way, it's August 24th, 5th, and 6th. So there's that. Also in the news is WordCamp US has a call for speakers. So if you're interested in speaking at the conference, by all means apply. Typically looking for 3 different types of sessions: lightning talks, traditional sessions, and a workshop. Lightnings are 15 minutes, traditional 45, workshops 90 minutes up to half a day. So there's that. And lastly in the news, my friend Michelle Frechette launched a new site called WP Speakers. This was about a week ago, just over a week ago, where it's a database of speakers who speak about WordPress things. Kind of similar to what I built and people asked me about a week or two ago on Backup Speaker, but mine is a little different than hers. Hers is just WordPress speakers only, and it's free on both ends. So I think she has sponsors that way. So check that out, wpspeakers.com. All right. Moving on to the meat potatoes of this week's episode, segment 2. This week I'm talking about uptime and monitoring, aka Uptime Monitoring. Go figure. Well, why do you ask? Well, 2 reasons I want to talk about this. I recently got a new NAS, a network attached storage device based on Synology, and I went down a bit of a rabbit hole on different apps I can run with it. I had an old one, so it's not brand new to me. It's a newer version anyway. So I can use Docker, maybe more on that later. And there's a lot of different apps you can do with it. And also, the other reason is one of my favorite registrar of choice recently had an outage for their email service. I use hover.com. I use email from them as well for a handful of emails for myself. And they were down. They had some massive issues. And it was great because they actually had an uptime status board kind of thing. So I watched a bunch of videos, checked out some options, think I might spin up my own uptime monitoring type of service for myself, just for my own things. That being said, let's first define what uptime monitoring is. It's defined as a service that tests your site's availability continuously around the clock. And if there's an outage, the service lets you know about it. Okay. So now, why would you want this? I want to share 5 reasons why you want this and how to implement it. First and foremost, number 1, downtime means lost revenue. Now, if your business is online, like mine is and probably yours is as well, it's important to keep your website running all the time. If your website's not working, people who want to buy from you might just go to some other website, a competitor really, and that means you lose money and customers. Okay. Speaking of customers, number 2 is that you want to keep customers happy. Having a website that works poorly or slow or doesn't work at all can be really frustrating. We've all been there where a site just takes forever to load or barely loads or missing images. So if it stops working, your regular customers may stick around, may come back, may let you know if they really like you, but then again, they may not. And if it's a new customer, they're going to leave pretty quick because they're going to find a better and more dependable website. So there's that. Number 3, lost reputation. Now, this is a big one. When people visit your website, whether it's their first time or they're there all the time, any downtime can and will affect how they perceive your brand, both online and offline. Downtime can make people lose trust in your brand and maybe obviously feel negative about your overall products. So yeah, lost reputation is really hard to regain that. Okay. Number 4, a big one here. This is the one that I think Hover just went through, hacker detection. Now, no, hackers will and can use various methods to mess things up. They just do that. DDoS, which stands for Distributed Denial of Service, a man-in-the-middle attack, DNS spoofing, DNS poisoning to harm your website, in malware injections, all that kind of stuff. They try to bring down your website one way or another for whatever reason, just because they can, they want to, and it's not personal. It's rarely personal. Anyway, they try to and also they might try to be stealing information. So that said, your servers might be working fine, but hackers can still block or redirect or damage your website's traffic. It's hard to know if it's been hijacked or hacked sometimes. So of course, hacker detection is key here for uptime monitoring as well. And the 5th reason is to get insights. Now, it'd be awesome, really awesome, if everyone could just pay and have the best hosting ever. Okay, who doesn't want that? But that can cost a lot of money. And not everyone, can't afford the highest level. I can't afford the highest level. I pay some good money for my hosting, for my services, but that isn't always a possibility for people. So if you can't pay for the highest, you can have uptime monitoring, give you insights about your servers, about what's going on. So I think that's also important. Okay, so those are the 5 reasons on why. Now the how do you implement this? Well, there's a couple different ways to do this. There are services out there like New Relic and Uptime Robot, and I'm testing those both out as well. It's pretty interesting. And there's also another one, there's a DIY version. There's Kuma, I think it's Kuma, Kuma, Kuma. It's an open source version of Uptime Robot, excuse me. So using like a NAS, like my Synology, plus Docker. Oh, I was gonna mention Docker real quick. That's gonna be an episode later this year. I'm really kind of fascinated by this whole Docker thing. I really want to get my head wrapped around it. So I'm gonna share on that. Okay, so you can use Synology. You can spin up your own uptime type of robot through Uptime Kuma, it's called. There's that. That's another way to implement. And then you get emails. You can get Slack message integrations. You can get text messages. Having it tell you what's going on is also a different way to go about things. How soon do you want to know? How soon does it poll? Does it like query the server? Is it up or down? So pretty cool. And also keep in mind, lastly, that there are tools in question that services you may pay for already that may already offer uptime monitoring. Case in point, BlogVault. It's already turned on, but other services you might have to turn it on, or you might have to pay a little bit extra to have that. Some hosting companies may do it as well. So you may already have a service that can provide it that you're not using to its fullest potential. Definitely want to use it. Make sure you're getting those notifications if something goes down. Okay, so there you go. That is Uptime Monitoring. Definitely check it out. I'm curious. Anyone out there using it for yourself or for your clients? Do you give reports to clients based on this? Let me know. I'm curious. So, all right. Moving on. Segment 3, tip and tool of the week. This week's tip is a piece of software. It's a service software thing. It's a bit of a riff off of my good friend Dustin. Rip off? No. He mentioned a week or two ago Zapier, the plugin. Though he didn't love the plugin, he loves the service, and I'm the same way. Service is great. And I just refound out is the right word to say it? I guess rediscovered is the way to say it, that I can actually use Zapier with my Webinar Ninja platform that I use for the webinars to create a new user on a website. So when someone registers for the webinar, so you can tie things together. So check out Zapier as a whole in general. And then if you need to use the plugin to get the API to connect to talk, go ahead and use the plugin. But the plugin itself, like Dustin said, not great, but it serves its purpose. Zapier itself, fantastic. All right. So there you have it. I'm going to wrap it up. If you have any questions, go ahead and send it in via email, adam@kitchensinkwp.com, or use the SpeakPipe functional website. If you want to support the show, I would love you to become a Patreon, kitchensinkwp.com/Patreon. Sponsor the show. There's a form on the website. If you're looking for business coaching or accountability, just adamsilver.com. Thanks for listening. See you next week. Now go out and do some awesome things with WordPress. All right. Bye-bye.